Welcome back. I'm glad to have you all here tonight. Glad to be gathered. Where we are right now. As you could imagine, I'm just here walking in space, on Earth, talking to a cell phone. This ain't space. This is a cell phone. Anyways, I'm making this with a specific catalyst in mind. And this is one of those things that I do not want to defile. Let's just say I had an encounter today. Had a splendid little day at work today. You know, I'm in the produce section. Grab a few plump Roma tomatoes. Get myself a delicious looking, very healthy looking red bell pepper. I happened to notice they had a whole wide selection of various squashes. And so I decided to try my hand at some kind of new squash. I don't know how to pronounce it. Calabaza? A calabaza squash? Looks like a little green pumpkin. So, because this was my first time out here grabbing that kind of squash, I didn't know, what are the telltale signs to look for? What's good? How can you determine pre-purchase which is the one to go for? Do you go for the ones that are entirely dark green? Or do you go for the ones, kind of like how watermelon, you want to get the ones that are both green, they got a little bit of stripage, and they've got yellow spots. Ideally a huge yellow spot, which means they ripened on the vine before they picked it, so it's a good one. It's juicy and the texture's nice. So I don't know what to look for in a calabaza squash. It being my first time, so I said forget about it, and I pulled the trigger, and I'd simply ripped the band-aid off because I had an insight into my position, my perspective, my predicament. Because I did not know what to look for. I could have been there for eons, simply going back and forth. Solely based on just an inkling, a premonition in the mind. Hey, what's... And that's essentially what apprehension and hesitation and what too much thought will get you. And so I said, hey, there's only up from here. I grabbed a nice, small, medium-sized calabaza squash with dark green and a little bit of orange, yellow spots on it. And so we'll see how this goes. I'm gonna look up a video after I'm done with this walk here. How do you prepare a calabaza squash? And that'll be nice. That'll be pretty epic. It's a little something to look forward to later. And before I get on to, the greatest of great things, I suppose I'll introduce you and keep you informed. I'll update you as to what's happening in my regiment. So like all things in life, human life, no plan is generally worse than having a bad plan. Ideally, you want a good plan. And the thing that you learn about good plans is that good plans are homeostatic. They upright themselves like buoys in the sea. They're gyroscopic. And that's the kind of thing, gyroscopic. An element, an aspect of things that are gyroscopic is that they have centripetal force. They have a speed at which they're moving that allows them to upright themselves. So in this analogy, no plan is like a wobble. A bad plan, well, let's just say you're picking up speed. A good plan, that's where it adjusts itself. So on my plan, blah, 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 whatever, in my regiment, I've adopted a weight vest. And now, I've learned that the weight vest is so versatile. You see, on my walks now, I've taken off the weight vest from my chest, wearing it like a backpack. And now I've decided to just hold it. And holy hell, dude, I love that. Dude, 6 mile farmer's carry with a weight vest. Epic. Dude, I get the opportunity to exercise so many different kinds of muscles when I do this. It's light enough where I'm working my side delt. I'll be whipping out various exercises out here. Forearm, grip strength, thumb muscle. I'll readjust it. I'll start doing I'll start pressing this thing. Work the front delt. You know? I'll start curling this thing. Do overhead tricep extensions. Lateral raises. Working my rhomboids, working my core. You know, I'll do shrugs, get my traps involved. I'm not exactly sure what this movement is called, but it's kind of like you raise it in front of you. Kind of a cross-body raise. And you work the chest a little bit. Also nice. And also, not the catalyst for which, for why I decided to record tonight, but I'm, part of this whole, this update in regimen is big. And there are a few key players in this. And one of them just happens to be kind to yourself. Something that I've gotten to recognize firsthand and very intimately in my own experience in life is that to desire is to suffer. You happen to want something, sacrifices, trade-offs. Lesser ones and greater ones. You want that banging body? Well, you're gonna have to move around, burn calories, exercise muscle groups. That's physical. And then emotionally, mentally. You have to curb temptation and, oh, I want that piece of cake. Sorry. Nope. It's Chuck Testa. Sorry. Nope. Can't have that. Oh, man. God dang it. But I really want... Trade-offs, What do you want more? What would you rather have? Piece of cake now, or visible abs in however long that takes you? And this is merely one example, but it's still not the knotted muscle at which I'm targeting. You see, what I've gotten to experience directly, first-hand experience, is the kind of tyranny, the kind of tyrannical voice in the head you might develop if you pursue obtaining any sort of desire in which you might have. To the point where you you might be unaware of it at first. And this is the kind of thing that I would just love to, bring to the table my own experience with that. Tyranny, tyrannical personality, tyrannical. You might just develop a tyrannical voice in the head, a tyrannical mentality, to the point where you become some sort of soldier for a general in your mind that simply just throws the soldier in. Fuck you. Fuck that guy. I don't care about that guy. I want the results. Fuck the guys. I want the results. Just fucking throw him to the lions, dude. Fucking, I want the thing. Get it done. Right? And I'm not even saying this is good or bad. I mean, there is something a little sexy about that. There's something a little bit sexy about putting your head into the fucking grindstone and just getting shit done. There's a whole reputation behind this. It's like you proved to yourself, hey, there was all this shit that I didn't want to do, or just shit that it was taking the harder, more poisonous ivy embodied trail, and all the poisonous ivy vines had fucking thorns on them, and it was uncomfortable, and they got into my socks, and somehow they slipped into my shoes, and each step was painful in some way. And you know what? I fucking did it. Who did it? I did it. You pat yourself on the back. You get all these sorts of residual kudos in which you can say, hey, yeah, I did this. I feel good about that. And you do it consistently and time after time, and you become someone who has more faith in optimism, attitude, and outlook when it comes to enduring, grueling things in the world. There's a challenge, some kind of obstacle in the world. You've put yourself to the fire, to the point where you're like, yeah, fuck it, I can do that. So I'm not saying, whatever tyrannical voice in the head is bad or good. But I am saying there are trade-offs to wanting things. And here's something a little more personal, more specific to me. And I'm sure this will actually sort of disperse and spread itself over the whole like peanut butter and jelly or butter on toast or oil in the pan to say that it's going everywhere. It's spreading. When you want something, when you have a desire, your mind has honed in. All right? You're playing a first-person shooter. You just hit the LT button. Boom. That's to say that you just zoomed in. You took aim. You've narrowed your cone of focus further in. It means that you can't see the other things around you as easily. You don't have the agility, you don't have the mobility. The vision to see the things around you. And I said I wanted to get specific, so I'll get specific. See, in my pursuit of wellness, health, fitness, art, making things, creating things, all these sorts of pleasures and pastimes and all of it. See, I don't solely exercise because of the results, because of how I love a muscular build, however nice that is. That I get to eat more food because I really like to eat food. There is the enjoying of the doing, the actual exercising that happens. The in real time breakdown and exerting of energy, the burning of calories, the ripping of muscle fibers, the creating in real time, the present moment. How amazing. There are these things. The trade-off for me is that I recognize that at some point there is a glass ceiling, there is some kind of limiting factor or an anchor, that a parachute, something that pulls me down or slows me down or whatever, right? I'm obsessed. Addicted. Top heavy, even at some times. And this is part of the downfall of all of this. I want to pursue, I want to spend all of the moments that I can. Ready for these things that I want to do. To the point where it has imbalanced my life. I've developed imbalances in my life. I have less time to give to everyone else in the world. Because I think to myself, well, I totally want to participate in these things, and when the numbers reach this point, I generally want to sleep too. I got to schedule in time for sleep as well. And oh boy, how I sure do wish I could, but I can't. And it has its trade-offs. I will be less positively impactful in my life at times, especially when it gets closer to go time, whenever go time is. Oh, go time is? Oh, snap. They're about to unlock the doors? I'm about to get out of here? Go! Come on! Get to the chopper! And that whole entire negative aspect is this sinkhole that will continue to grow. Because it's more than just having less time for other people. It's more than just having less patience for other people. It's an increase. People no longer just become people. People become obstacles. People become objects and vessels for my irritation and resentment. Now, should they? No, because they have nothing to do with that. That's not their thing to hold. That's not something that they even asked for. They just happen to be in the world, participating with life in the ways that they were. And unfortunately, they got a dose of me in that moment, who's all busy and caught up in getting somewhere. Oh shit, I'm stressed. Oh shit, I'm hot. Oh shit, I gotta go fast. Why? Well, because my phone, it's gonna tell me that the time is 9:43, and I said that I wanted to have my head on the soft pillow by 11:20, so I can be up by 9:10, and like, what is even life at that point? That's absurd, strange derangement. Because life is not all of these future moments. Life is not the time as it is being counted by the metronome of the clock. Life is this thing you are living right now. Significantly more than the spider web in which we can get caught up in and totally believe life to be. Anyways, so something super unfathomably awesome happened to me today. I got to participate in today. I got to experience today. I encountered some person today. Many people, of course, but one really sticks out in my experience as special as all things could be. I came across a star on Earth, just this glimmer of goddamn light in life today. I came across someone in my life where we developed a culture of vulnerability and raw, true love, dropping all cultural beliefs as to what masculinity is, what competition is, and it felt spiritual, which is an interesting word, which I would like to get more into. You see, life is beautiful. You know, there's no one way in which you can go about life. No specific main quest at which we're supposed to participate in life within. You know, sometimes we're like scarecrows and we're putting up these different personas and aspects of our personalities and characteristics of ourselves to sort of accentuate a various part of ourselves, to attract various things into it, or to repel things from it. And every once in a while, you might find yourself in a frame of mind and outlook on life, energy riding within you, where you're no longer attempting to attract anything or repel anything, and you're simply just in a stasis. You know, you're very much sort of handling, grappling, encountering everything in the sort of present moment as you're experiencing it. And oftentimes you'll do this with another person, and it's a very it's an interesting encounter. And it's a beautiful place to be. There's not a judging mind. You know, most of the time there will be a problem that will simmer to the surface, and it's a sort of two heads is better than one type of scenario. You know, you just offer your truth, you offer the perspective that you have, they offer their truth, their perspective that they have, and you, there's just a sort of gratitude, appreciation, and thankfulness in the air about that. There's a compassion you have for the human condition. There's an empathy you have towards the various insecurities that you have yourself, and you get to witness how they come across and how they live their lives in another. And so I got to experience a star today. A star on Earth in the form of another human being. Wow, and it momentarily enlightened me and provided me with great insight into my life. And for whatever reason, the echolocation to that is that, you know, enlightenment is the ego's greatest disappointment, or the enlightenment is the ego's final bit of disappointment. This person, like I had the ability to see how hopeless my entire predicament is or was or might just be. That wanting anything at all, or just, I don't know, wanting various things, you know, having an outlook for what your life can be. You know, you imagine, I'm sure everyone out there on planet fucking Earth has a sort of imaginary, idealistic life for themselves, you know. It's like the American dream. You know, I wanna go and I want $1 billion, and I wanna have the house, and I wanna be able to retire my mom and my dad, and I wanna have a wife and some children, and I wanna be able to, you know, if they want to go to college, they'll go to college, we'll travel, we'll fucking live in the place that I want to live with the temperatures that, and my neighbors are going to be awesome, and we're all going to have poker night on Wednesday evening, and I'll have enough food in the pantry for 1 trillion years, and like, do we not all have this goddamn imaginary, idealistic life? To some extent, is it not something like that for everybody? I won't have a boss, and I'll be my own boss, and everybody will look to me as the main pillar, and I will be the breadwinner and the girl boss and the fucking El Jefe, fucking Huncho Jack. You know, I will have the status. I will reap the rewards of having such status. I will have the respect. I will have the happiness. I will have the foresight, and I will have my head on the. I will have my head. I'll have my feet on the ground, you know, I'll have a sort of emotional intelligence. I will, you know, these kinds of things. I will have emotional intelligence. I will be a light in the world, and I will be at service to man. I will have everything that I want at the snap of the fingers. I will have every aspect of my life at an S+ rating, and things will be succulent. Fucking Chinese meal, you know? I will see suffering in the world, and I will be able to alleviate it. And not only that, but I will also have a very limitless life, you know. There won't be things that restrict me and tie me down, and I won't have obligations. I will simply be a free entity amidst the world, you know. And I will figure out the function to these prime numbers to make the mathematical equation to manifest my life, to capitulate it in such a fashion, you know. And so, I mean, I got to experience a bright light in the form of another person today. Someone with this sort of optimism, someone with a kind of ambition, you know, this kind of fire in the source code of their being. A friendly, good-natured, uplifting person with this kind of fire-like ambition, a kind of earthliness about them. You know, and just fascinates me endlessly. Because I got to steep myself, or I was steeped within all of the aspects of this person. And here's my rundown and layout of that. This person was utterly perfect. Perfect! Okay? What do I mean by that? This person could not have been any more perfect in the entire world. The only thing that wasn't perfect about this person is how much that they are valued in life. And that whatever our whole entire society and culture and whatever, you know, how we, our reward system, you know, how we put up on the placard, you know, what is valuable and what are the rewards to being XYZ kind of person are. That this person does not get the status on the bulletin board. That they have to be an unsung hero in the world. That they don't get their name in flashing lights and all of this. You know, I met a perfect person today. I met someone. Hi, baby. Hey, baby. Hey. Bye-bye. I'll see you another night. See you, baby. See you, baby. I encountered a perfect person, someone who was friendly, someone who was curious and inquisitive, someone who was thoughtful and present, someone who was keen and discerning and asking sharp questions, someone who had the ability to articulate deep, introspective thoughts and pattern recognition of their own behavior. Someone who was ecologically aware. Someone who was loving and would give you the shirt off of their back and would not complain, and they would make you feel okay about that. Met a perfect person. Someone who was a balance between working on their own life and their own was on their own journey, that's to say. But was also there to radiate this sort of warmth to the world beyond them, beyond their own body. And yet, all of this still, I encountered someone who was perfect. And yet I got to see all of the ways in which they don't find themselves to be perfect. I got to witness a perfect person attempting to manifest various phenomena in their own life so they can finally meet whatever that model that has been given to them or that they are holding over themselves for what their life should be. I should be more disciplined. I should not procrastinate. I should make this amount of money. Should not have this kind of job. I should be doing something else. Want more status. And it was heartbreaking. Because I got to be in the presence of someone who was just a really fucking awesome person. You know, all the things that they care about and the attention to detail about their impact in the world, on the world. Being a shining light, being a helping hand. Literally being the gas in the car, being the muscle that exerts the force. And yet, their predicament is that they can never do enough. They can't ever do enough. I got to recognize in this moment that this person would have given me all of their time. That they are a giver to a T. They love to give, and what they have to give is like premium, supreme, highest grade quality thing ever. This is the type of person who is like an F1 car or a V12 engine or like clothing that you have to dry clean. I don't know how true this is, but I feel as though their predicament, the blind spot of their life is not how hard they're willing to work for something. It's like they need a bigger hole to fill. They have so much to give. Because they love being part of the process so much. That their problems start when their work is done. Dude, I left this encounter feeling unbearable compassion. Feeling the kind of love that you have for an acquaintance that it just makes you start thinking. You just start thinking different things in your life, at this point in time. You start thinking, dude, I need to get around that person more. I need to spend more time with that person. That person and I have to make that happen. I have to get in that orbit more. I liked that. That was calling to something within me, spiritually, psychologically, emotionally, mentally. Like it fills you with optimism. It fills you with fucking awe and wonder. It opened you up to a hallway with a corridor of just doors as far as the eye can see and beyond. and you just think to yourself, what's behind all those doors? Holy shit. I want to know. That kind of like, whoa. Wonder. You're like, what? Dude, whoa. This is what the encounter. It was heartbreaking and unbearable compassion. It was like, dude, I freaking love you, dude. Oh my god. What even? Dude, I wish more, please. I'll take another serving of that, please. 2 plates. And then, you feel this in one aspect of your life, but then you also feel the sort of greater current and track that your life is on. And as I've gotten older, I have heightened sensory awareness to this sort of internal slope that my life must follow the path of due to gravity or whatever. Like, yep, we're going down now. This is how slides work. This was amazing. But, and I want more and all that, but I'm also very much in the middle of a life. And just like I said, there's trade-offs to everything, for everything. Sure, life is what you make it, and you can stop on a dime and go in a different direction all the time, anytime, forever. The trade-off to that kind of freedom is that you name it. And so I met a perfect person today. Perfect fucking person today. And what I walked away with was that I love this person. I loved this person, and I love this person. They were impactful to my life, and the kind of thing that it restored my faith in humanity, as the old internet used to say. Wow, this video restored my faith in humanity. Here's a compilation of clips that'll restore your faith in humanity. This person restored my faith in humanity and made me not think of how can I be better than? How can I be a step above my competitors? How can I be sharper than the next fella? How can I be the one that is in the slot for choosing when it is time to be chosen? Now, this person made me think of that sort of group mentality, that camaraderie, that sort of way that ants will interlock themselves so they can create a kind of megazord. A multi-bodied, bigger than themselves, problem-solving engine. You know, sometimes ants will interlock with the other ants when it floods, so that way they don't all fall away, flood and drown. But no, they become hydrophobic, and they become this big floating buoyant mass that can withstand the flood. Or how they'll sort of crawl and get all over each other and create a kind of vine made of ants so they can travel across other leaves. Dude, this person cut out the whole dog-eat-dog world. A vaporous shroud of thoughts. You can try and think like it's a free-for-all, every man for himself. Fuck that guy, fuck everybody else. I gotta get it, I gotta do it. But no, it was like, made me think, you know, it's not, I have to be better than. It was more like, I gotta be better for. Like, it gives you the kind of inspiration, the kind of motivation, the kind of juice and fuel that lets you think, dude, I gotta be better for the people who I directly impact in my life, who I can directly impact in my life. I have to be as present as possible. I have to be as aware of these impacts that I have the opportunity to leave. I would like to be, I aspire to be better for the world. And so this person left a beautiful light. And so I'm thankful to them. And so I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you.